Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of longer-term technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, because if you guys will remember to a couple days ago, you will know I am currently on the road right now, and I am at a funeral when you're watching this. This is pre-recorded. Everything we talk about in today's video is long-term, non-topical, that will still be relevant when you see this video going live. And during this video, I want to discuss the question of where will Bitcoin be at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. We've got another 6 months or so left in this year. What will Bitcoin be worth at the end of 2019? I think that's one of the most asked questions that I have probably been asked for a very long time. Everybody wants to know, is Bitcoin going to be at $20,000? Is it going to be higher than $20,000? Well, guys, in today's video, we're going to be attempting to answer that question with all of the fancy graphs we have here in front of you. So, guys, before we get on into it, I do want to ask you that if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell, guys. Destroy that notification bell so you'll be updated every time a new video comes out. And without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to talk about these vertical lines that I have here on the chart. What do these mean, and why are they so important? Well, I'll tell you guys, these lines are actually remarkably important because they represent the halvings in Bitcoin. If you know anything about the way Bitcoin's blockchain works, every 4 years, give or take, a halving happens. And what that means is that the block reward for mining Bitcoin is reduced in half. Some people think that Bitcoin is a deflationary currency. It kind of is, but that's not built into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is only deflationary because people lose their Bitcoin and they can't get it back, unfortunately for them. But what is interesting about Bitcoin is that hard-coded into Bitcoin, the inflation slows down with time. As we can read here, the Bitcoin block mining reward halves every 210,000 blocks. The coin reward will decrease from 12.5 Bitcoin as it is now to 6.25 Bitcoins. So that means in May of next year, as you can see, about 370 days, give or take. This isn't exact because this is based on blocks, and blocks don't take exactly 10 minutes. But in about 370 days or so, where I have it here on the chart, Bitcoin is going to finally have a halving. And what that means is that instead of 12.5 Bitcoin being added to the ecosystem every 10 minutes, we're going to have 6.25 Bitcoin added to the ecosystem. And that drives inflation in Bitcoin's price. Let's look back here in the history of Bitcoin, and what we'll see is that just about every single time we have a halving, we've only had a couple of them, every time we have a halving, Bitcoin is on a bull market. As we can see right here, Bitcoin started a bull market back over here in November of 2011, way back in 2011. Tell me in the comment section down below what you were doing in 2011. I was definitely having some fun in 2011. But Bitcoin was on a bull market, and about halfway through that bull market, we saw the halving. And immediately after the halving, what happened? Bitcoin went through the moon. That was the first halving, dropping the block reward from 50 Bitcoin down to 25 Bitcoin. From there, a major bull market ensued, and following that halving, we saw Bitcoin ran 8,000%, guys. Wasn't that a time to be alive? If you were in the market back then, tell us in the comment section down below. You're probably too rich to be fooling with the likes of us plebeians if you were in the market back then. But after the second halving, Bitcoin still ran another 3,000%. That's a huge rally. And what we find is that Bitcoin is normally already on a bull market before the halving, but when the halving happens, it's afterburner. It's afterburner. It's rocket fuel. It's putting an afterburner on your granddaughter's tricycle, as I said in one video recently. That is what really drives Bitcoin bullishness. Is after that halving happens, a gigantic bull market ensues. That seems to be the way this works. We've only had 2 of them in history, but we're about to have another one coming in a little over a year. As you can see, it'll be a year and about 2 weeks before the next halving, and Bitcoin has just confirmed a bull market, so we are going to see that Bitcoin is going to be in a bull market during this halving. So what's going to happen with that, and why am I mentioning something that's going to happen in 2020 when we're talking about the end of 2019? Well, the reason for that is very simple. I think you can divide Bitcoin bull markets into 2 different phases, pre-halving and post-halving. If we look back here on the history of Bitcoin, what we will find is that yes, before the halving, Bitcoin is moving to the upside. Yes, during this Bitcoin bull market, Bitcoin did run 500%. Oh, isn't that great? Bitcoin ran 500%. In the stock market, they're making 8% a year, poor things. Then Bitcoin ran 8,000% following that, mind you. Bitcoin ran all the way from $13 to $1,200, nearly a 10,000% increase. That's what I'm talking about here. We're on the log chart right now. That's why that beginning looks so parabolic. Check out the linear chart. This is what was happening before the halving. This happened after. That's a very important distinction that we need to pay attention to. Similar thing happened over here in 2015 and 16 when Bitcoin went into a bull market, and before we saw that halving, we did see a run-up. People were excited about it. They knew what had happened back over here in 2012 with the previous halving given, as you can obviously see. But after this halving, an interesting thing happened. The main part of the parabolic run for 2017 happened. It happened after the halving. So again, why am I talking about what happens after the halving? That's going to happen in 2020. Well, there's a very simple reason for that. Like I said, you can divide these bull markets into two phases: pre-halving, post-halving. Pre-halving, post-halving. Pre-halving, post-halving. And the majority of the bullishness comes after the halving, not before the halving. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because that has a lot to do with our price action. That has a lot to do with whether or not Bitcoin goes to and beyond $20,000 this year. The end of this year is not very far away. It's right there. Bitcoin is already halfway through this year. We are already halfway through this year. I suppose Bitcoin is also. Bitcoin is about halfway through this year. We will be in like 2 weeks after I record this. So we don't actually have that long to go. So I want to pose a question to you guys. Do you think Bitcoin is going to be worth over $20,000 by the end of the year? I'm not convinced, guys. I'll tell you straight up, and we'll talk about this more later on. I think Bitcoin during this bull market is going to go I believe Bitcoin is going to go to between $50,000 and $200,000. I'll get into why I believe that in a future video and later on in this video a little bit, but I don't think that that's all going to happen at once. Based on what we've seen in the history of Bitcoin, Bitcoin normally sees a lot of that bullishness after the halving. We haven't had it yet. So what I think we're probably going to do instead of going to $20,000 and beyond is that we're going to instead slowly climb up here, up towards 20K, and right around the time we hit the halving, we'll probably be trading somewhere between $50,000 to $30,000, and by the end of this year, I think Bitcoin will be trading below $20,000, but significantly farther above $10,000. I think we'll probably be trading somewhere around $15,000. Let's get into why I believe that. Let's look at percentages on the previous bull markets. This is something I'm going to mention this before I go ahead and say this because everybody likes to call people a copycat. Yes, I did see Sonny Decree talking about this, and yes, I do think it's a very important point, so I wanted to bring it up in my video. Okay, are we good? Are you guys going to yell, Jeb, you copied Sonny Decree in the comment section down below? Okay, good. Let's get into it. Sonny, in one of his videos recently, talked about the percentage gains that we see during bull markets, and he talked about how Bitcoin ran about 3,500% in this first bull run from one top to the next. And then following that, about a 3,500% gain, we saw about a 1,700% gain. That is gigantic. And then if we go ahead and scroll out here, then if we were to follow that trend of having the size of the all-time high increase, then that would put Bitcoin somewhere up here around $100,000 to $200,000, depending on where exactly we run. This is obviously not an exact science. And I agree with that statement. I think that Bitcoin will probably run above $50,000, below $200,000. We'll get into more specifics and more reasons why I believe that in a future video, like I said, but I think that that's a good thing that we can base our prediction off of, because if the majority of the Bitcoin bullishness is going to come after the halving, then that means that that majority of that run from wherever we start up to $50,000 to $200,000 is going to happen after the halving, which means that we're probably going to be below $50,000 before the halving. And if we're below $50,000 before the halving, I think it's fair to say that we're going to be below $30,000 or $40,000 before the end of this year. I think it's very fair to say that. And another reason that I want to say that has to do with an extension of what Sonny talked about in his video. One of the things that I found on the chart after using some of this extrapolation that he was talking about is the percentage gains on the bull market before the halving and after the halving. Check out how large this rally was before the halving. It was around 550 to 600%. We'll use 600% as an example. Bitcoin ran nearly 60,000% during this rally. $60,000, guys. That is an insane rally. Bitcoin ran from like $2 to $1,300. Gigantic run. Really good stuff going on with Bitcoin then. But if you'll notice, the vast majority of that market, a vast majority of that rally happened after the halving. Well over 10 times, about 100 times in fact. What we see here is that about 100 times more rally happened after the halving than before the halving. Now, of course, the beginning of that was important, but the majority of it happened after. If we check here, Bitcoin rallied about 300%. That's about half what we saw over there. That rallied about 600%. This rallied about 300% before the halving, and then we saw the halving, and then after that, Bitcoin rallied in totality 10,000%. So we saw about a half in the amount of rally before the halving, and then we saw about a sixth in the total of the major rally. So if we saw something more conservative like a 2,000% rally, and it sounds really weird to say a 2,000% rally, I understand that. If we see something more conservative like a 2,000% rally, that puts Bitcoin going to $60,000 to $70,000. And if we look at the way that Bitcoin ran before the halving, then that would mean that before the halving, we would probably see something like a 200 to 250 to 300% rally, which puts us a little bit above $10,000. Guys, there are a lot of other things that I can get into here, but I think you get the point. I think before 2019 is over, which is about 5 months before the halving, that Bitcoin is going to be below $30,000, but also with how bullish we are, I don't really see Bitcoin being above I really don't see Bitcoin being below $15,000. I think Bitcoin's going to rally to at least $15,000, and then we're going to see Bitcoin start moving even more bullish following that halving. So if you guys want my prediction on where Bitcoin will be by the end of the year, it's hard to give an exact number, and I think it would be irresponsible for me to give an exact number anyway, considering the position I'm in. I think that Bitcoin's going to be above 15K and below 25 to 30K. I think Bitcoin's going to be hovering somewhere around $20,000 actually, so there is a good chance that we hit that all-time high before the new year even starts, guys. I think that we're going to be very bullish for this year. I think we all agree that a bull market is coming. We have a lot of precedent in the Bitcoin market and its history to determine what Bitcoin is going to do here over these next couple of years, and I think that we're going to see great things happen. Tell me in the comment section down below if you're invested in Bitcoin, and tell me how much you're invested in Bitcoin. Are you really, really heavily invested in Bitcoin, or is this just one of your side projects with your main business and then your stocks or whatever? I'm interested to learn more about you guys. Tell me in the comment section down below what you have to say. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Before we finish, I do want to go ahead and mention that, yes, the sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is still running. I'm going to be running that for a few more days after this video goes live. So if you're interested in joining CT2A and learning everything you need to know about cryptocurrency technical analysis before this gigantic bull run starts and before it really starts to take off here in the next year or so, if you want to learn about how to do technical analysis, you want to learn about how to read charts and be prepared for the biggest opportunity of this decade, then I think the Bitcoin Academy is a great place to start, and the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy will help you greatly, guys. We have 33 videos and over 9 hours of content. More are going to be coming in the coming weeks. We're going to be getting this up to 50 videos, and by the way, if you're in the course, you get access to every single new video that comes out for no extra charge. I don't charge you again when I upload those videos. They go up, they're yours. You pay once, and you pay only once. You never pay again. You only pay me once. Guys, we have 50 videos coming out, and I do want to mention that the price of the course, as I add those new videos, is going to be rising. The course price right now at the sale is $119.20, and I and the 400 or so people that have gone through the course all seem to believe that that is worth every single penny. And guys, I am going to have to be raising that just simply because of the economics of how courses work. I'm going to be eventually raising the course price to $249, and you're never going to see a sale like this again. We may have one more at this price before it rises, but if you want to join this course and you want to start learning about technical analysis, then now is the time to do so. Check the link in the description, use the coupon code 20K2019, and I'll see you over there. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.